So it was about this time last year we had a similar conversation. We talked about increasing mileage. And I want to do that again because we're at that time of year. You're coming off building up for a fall goal race. You've done that, you've recovered, you've started building back towards normal. And now is that time of year where if you're going to increase mileage, now is the time to do it. I want to talk about a couple of reasons why we want to increase mileage and a couple of things that we can do to implement it. What I'm not going to really focus on to keep this video a palatable length is I'm not going to talk about the specific physiological adaptations of more endurance training, more mileage. And I'm not going to talk about the exceptions for those people that maybe shouldn't be increasing mileage, at least significantly. Most of you fall into the category where you will benefit, but there are a few situations that it's probably not the best thing or our best opportunity for improvement. So we can talk about those things and figure out where you fall. If you definitely need to increase mileage and you're going to see a great benefit, or there's some other things that we can do first to get more of that improvement. So let's start with why we want to increase mileage. First is there are 3 sure ways to get better. One of them, get ready for this, this isn't going to drive a lot of clicks and excite a lot of people, but we know it's true. Run more. And that's increasing mileage. If you do that, you will get better, especially if you've never run the mileage that you're contemplating taking on at this point. You will get better. I've seen it so many times. I've seen it in runners that have been doing it for a long time. I've seen it in older runners and older runners that have been doing it for a long time. So it is almost a guaranteed way to get better. Again, there are some exceptions to that, but by and large, if you increase mileage significantly, you are going to improve. Second is it's a plateau buster. So if you feel like you're stuck and you've been working really hard the last couple of seasons, maybe the last few years, and you're running about the same times, there are points in a career where that's going to happen. There are points in a career where we're just trying to slow down the slowing down. That is a real thing. But for most of you, if you've been stuck in that plateau, given a couple minutes here or there in a marathon, maybe a minute or 2.5, and the 5Ks and 10Ks vary depending on the course, but it's all kind of the same performance level, this is a great opportunity for you to get off of that plateau. The other plateau that it can break is a mental plateau. Maybe you just had a great race. Maybe you just ran Monumental or wherever, and you killed it. And you think, that's the best I can do. Well, if you haven't run significant mileage, if you haven't made some increases in that over time, I'm not so sure that that's the best that you can do. Maybe it's the best you can do off of this level of training. But if you have the time, energy, and willingness to do more, maybe you can surprise yourself and have another big breakthrough. The other reason we want to run the mileage is it bulletproofs you. So some of you maybe already tuned me out and thought, hey, he's talking to marathoners. I'm going to run half marathon, maybe not that far. Maybe I'm getting ready for track. I want to focus on 5K, 10K, whatever it may be. If you're an 800-meter runner, we know that the right times of the year, running more mileage will bulletproof you so you can do more high-intensity training. And it comes down to this. If you can do more mileage, more intensity, and still adapt to it, still recover from it, and thrive on increased levels, you will be better. You will beat people of your ability level. You'll beat some people beyond your ability level that aren't willing to work so hard. So those are some great reasons to do this, great reasons to increase mileage and keep that improvement curve going the right way. So how do we implement this? First, let's set some mileage goals. You can look at Training Peaks, Garmin Connect, wherever your mileage is the most convenient for you to see, and take a look at the last, however long you have records, at least the last 3-4 years, and see what did I average for that year, and break it down a little bit more and take a look and see where were the high mileage segments of this? Where were my best 8, 12, 16 weeks? Because maybe you dropped mileage because life got in the way, or maybe there's some aches or pains, or whatever reason, plan break, you dropped mileage and that affects the average. So look at those blocks as well as what you've done overall in years. And I know some of you are watching that right now because you're thinking, I can get to 2,000 miles for the year or whatever it is. Some of you are more aware of that now than ever. Take a look at that and see what you think. This is the best I've done. That's our starting point. And then we figure out the goals from there. So we want to set those goals. We need to monitor recovery. All of this is contingent upon staying healthy. And I'm convinced, because I've seen it so many times, that increasing mileage doesn't go hand in hand with injury. People will say, I can't run the mileage because I'll get hurt. I'm pretty convinced if you don't run the mileage, you're going to get hurt. If that easy running volume is out of balance with the quality, you're more likely to get injured. So we want to take a look at that and make sure that you're recovering, because if we get those nice mileage numbers, we have these great goals, you hit them, but you're injured, it does you no good. So we need to make sure that you're recovering. We need to make sure those goals are flexible. And if you just feel like you're falling behind on recovery, and this is hard to do, I talk a good game, but I find it hard to do myself, is when I'm hitting the mileage or hitting whatever goal I have, it's pretty hard to dial back, even though I can kind of tell I'm falling behind in recovery because I make a deal with myself. I'll just get through this week or even just this workout, and then I'll take it real easy. When we find that, it's okay. What's most important? Staying healthy. Let's dial back for a couple of days and we can get back to it. If it costs you a couple weeks or a couple months, then we've accomplished nothing. So we need to always monitor that and make sure that you're staying healthy, you're getting recovered. It's okay to be tired. It's okay to go out on a recovery day and run laughably slow and look at your watch and say, oh my goodness. That's okay. That's why we take those recovery days. But we want to make sure that on your high quality, moderate quality, and long runs, you're feeling pretty good. If not, we need to figure something out. What's the balance between stress and rest? What's the balance between quality and volume? So we'll figure that out and make sure that you're recovering properly. The other caveat to this is mileage will make you stronger, but if you have weaknesses and weak links, hamstring, glutes, hips, calves, whatever it is, if you know if I run too much or if I increase my quality or whatever, I know this is the thing that's going to go. That thing's going not because you've increased something, it's because it's weak and it can't handle increased stress. So address that. Now is the perfect time. Most of you don't have a meaningful race coming anytime real soon. If we need to dial back to get healthy before we jump into the mileage, let's do that, because we don't want to invest time and energy into the mileage and then have a setback because we ignored aches or pains or weak links. So we have to make sure that we get those, because increasing mileage will show those up, and we need to make sure that we're staying healthy. So let's set some goals. Let's monitor recovery. And if you have aches or pains, let's eliminate those. This month, we're building back up towards normal. For most of you, Christmas week is going to be maybe a little bit lighter, and that's fine. That's a great on-ramp to the beginning of the year to crank up the mileage. So let's set some goals and get going.